Good afternoon. Greetings from the Philippines, from the Davao Episcopal Area. Unity. What comes to mind when you hear the word unity? Isn't it this ideal version of something that one hopes for and dreams for, especially in our world? A world that has seen countless acts of disunity. A world which seems to cycle through chaos, violence, and distress in many varied forms. It is easy to point out disunity. We see it all around us and sometimes even experience it among and even within us. But it's not as easy to define unity. So, what is unity? It is a simple word, but it's complex and often hard to fully define as it has many possible definitions. Take, for instance, the Merriam-Webster dictionary entry for the term unity. There are 6 entries for the word, for which 3 have multiple meanings within one definition. And if multiple definitions weren't already confusing enough, there is an added layer of complexity to some of the definitions. With the many possible meanings, it's a complicated word that often leaves people saying the same word but meaning different things. So, if there are so many meanings for the word, what exactly does unity mean in the term Christian unity? In order to understand unity in the context of Christianity, we turn to our source of authority, which contains all things necessary for salvation, and that is the Scripture, the Bible. While there are many passages in the Scripture that speak of unity, the central passage in this session for understanding Christian unity comes from the Gospel of John in the 17th chapter. This particular passage is part of what is known as the Farewell Discourse. As the name suggests, it is a long, extended monologue of Jesus that spans from chapters 13 to 17, that expresses the last words Jesus wishes to share. It takes place just after the Lord's Supper is ending and before Jesus' arrest. As part of his final words, Jesus looks up to heaven and prays to God the Father. He prays for his disciples, for his followers, gathered with him that night, asking for God to protect them and to sanctify them. Then in John 17:20, Jesus extends his prayer by saying, I ask not only on behalf of these, but also on behalf of those who will believe in me through their word. Friends, with these words, Jesus is extending his prayer to those who will come to believe in him through his disciples, once he has gone to be with the Father. In essence, Jesus is praying for the church which will come into being through the disciples, as part of those who have come to believe in him through the words of others before us. This passage is a prayer for us and all followers of Jesus. Hear the prayer that Jesus prays in verse 21. That they may all be one, as you, Father, are in me and I am in you. May they also be one in us, so that the world may believe that you have sent me. The glory that you have given me, I have given them, so that they may be one as we are one. I in them, and you in me, that they may become completely one, so that the world may know that you have sent me and have loved them even as you love me. Jesus prays that they may be one, or that we may be one. One. This is the central term of this passage. But not just in this passage. It also appears 32 times in the Gospel, making it a significant part of the whole message of the account. Professor of New Testament at Perkins School of Theology claims that this was done very intentionally by the author because of the worldview in which this gospel account was written. As we all know, context matters, especially when we are trying to convey an important point. In this particular case, the author of this gospel account is of Jewish descent, writing in a Jewish context. As a Jewish person writing to other Jewish people, the author would have been steeped and rooted in the Shema. The Shema is a particular passage of scriptures found in the book of Deuteronomy in chapter 6, verse 4 to 5. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord alone. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And it can also be translated to be, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. This passage became a daily prayer in the ancient Israelite tradition. It's the equivalent of the Lord's Prayer. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. In Christian tradition, it is a prayer that the reader and the audience would have known by heart, saying it twice a day. This prayer is attributed to Moses as one of the speeches he gave before the next generation of Israel entered the promised land, as a way to remind and encourage the Israelites of the centrality of the one Lord in their lives, and to respond with love to the Lord. By using one in the Gospel of John, the author is hearkening back and recalling the Shema. The Lord is one. As you, Father, are in me and I am in you, Jesus and the Lord are one. The Lord is one. But the oneness doesn't stop there. In verse 22, the glory that you have given me, I have given them, so that they may be one as we are one. I in them, and you in me, that they may completely be one. The glory of connection to the Lord extends beyond to all who have come to believe, making them part of the one Lord.